I'm excited today because I have the Bright Light Social Hour here with me to discuss. They have some new music and they have a tour they're going to be here. I mean, you guys either started it. Did you guys start this incredible tour? I mean, oh no, yeah, you started on Valentine's Day. I remember that now because you guys have you had some special shows in Texas on Valentine's Day.
That's right. Yeah, it's kicked off in great fashion, might I add.
Well, I was gonna say there's you guys have some wonderful new music out and you're here on the Most High tour. And I'm curious, you have this new album, Emergency Leisure, out. Mia, where did the concept for this come from?
The title was interesting. The music was somewhat underway actually when I joined the band, which was kind of exciting. Jackie and Kirk taught me to add some BGVs. They were really interested in creating more like lush BGV arrangements, and we're looking for a female vocalist to do that. And so it was cool to come into an album that was kind of mostly together, but still needed like finishing touches and flourishes. And that's just absolutely like my happy place and what I call like fantasy fun factory. So is creating like kind of elaborate vocal arrangements. So I had a blast hopping in and doing that. And when it came to the title of the album, I think a lot of the themes of the record, we were talking about abundance a lot. We were talking about just, I don't know, like really giving yourself what you need. And either if you don't have the abundance now, trying to like manifest those energies of abundance. Jackie, what do you remember about kind of the title and the themes? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, I know that you came up with the album title. Um, we were taking a break from a studio session, getting towards the end of the record. The working title for the album was Let's Go Grief, because a lot of it was started from was just inspired by this one night on our 2019 tour. We played in Montreal. It was like a Tuesday night. Um, we played this bar called Let's Go Grief, which means the beanpole, like the skinny man. Um, And nothing special, but it was like a good Tuesday night. But the strange thing was, as soon as we finished playing, this DJ took over, started playing incredible, like, I don't know, just really sultry sort of dance music, but modern, but kind of indie, but I don't know, just like really blew us away, all in French. No one left. Like our show like went immediately into like this dance party. Everyone in the band just dancing all night. Um, and the next day we'd kind of couldn't stop talking about this music and how we sort of wanted to like recreate this evening as a record. And so it was a sad time. Like there was an undercurrent of some sadness of as far as like, we didn't know this was going to be our last tour for a long time. The pandemic hit shortly afterwards. We parted ways with two of our very longtime members, Joe and Edward, our old drummer and keyboardist. And but there was still this like hope. So it was like sort of like this night of dancing in the midst of like some doom, you know? So that was sort of like where the record like came out of, and I love that Mia was like commenting, like this all feels like urgent, but chill. It's like the whole vibe is like hurry up and like come in here and forget about everything and just chill. So Emergency Leisure just was that, put succinctly.
There's song Empty Fields and Call My Name. Do you have a particular song, Jackie, that you really love off this album?
Um, yeah, I have a lot. I love them all, but I love the underdogs. So I love the weird ones that no one talks about. There's one called Swollen that is like
We call
really
them deep cuts. The deep cuts.
yes, the under yeah. Swollen is a really cool one that I always felt like is really, I don't know, just like a beautiful piece that Curtis and I wrote. Death of a Lifer is the other one that's like a big left turn on the record. It was originally one song, Lifers Only, um, and originally I had this ending for it, and I wrote it so like during the pandemic, I had a baby, and it was funny trying to write music and make demos with this like couple of weeks old baby. I would literally be singing, and then she'd start screaming, and I'd have to stop for a little while, and then like she'd start to like calm down again. I could continue. So the demo ended up being like this really, straight ahead sort of dance song, and at the end it like changes tempo, changes feel, gets really aggressive, really intense, and I wanted that to be like the feel of like placid life, and then all of a sudden baby has entered the chat, like everything, you have to stop everything and jump into it. So that ended up turning into two songs, Lifers Only and Death of a Lifer.
What about you? Is there a particular song that really has a deep significance for you?
I too like the B-sides. I am like a sad, slow jam person. I really love Swollen as well. I'm not gonna steal Jackie's answer. I'm gonna include that as like an honorable mention because we never played it live. And so it's like one of those songs that just lives in record form and it's so stunning. But Empty Fields is definitely a favorite of mine off the record. It feels like a sort of ancient song that's like been around forever. It feels very classic, but yet it's like familiar, but still kind of fresh and like our way of approaching the influences we have from like 60s soul music. And so I thought that was a really beautiful way to nod to those influences without it being derivative. Like it still feels original and like us, but with a lot of love for that genre and that time.
Jackie, you talked about working with Kurt on writing the music. Do you guys have a particular way that you always write a song, like where you hear a little lyric and you'll voice note each other back and forth? Or do you guys need to have a little bit of music with the band where you fi figure things out and then you sort of craft lyrics around it? Or maybe there is no particular always way to write it?
Yeah, we are switching it up constantly. Every song I would say has like a different story of how it came to be. Uh, a lot of them came up from just jams in the room. There was a period, the band kind of like shrunk down to just Curtis and I for a minute, and we added Zach in. And so as we're sort of coming out of the pandemic, the three of us would jam a lot. So a lot of them would be like these musical just moments that we really liked, and then we would, build that into a full song and add words. Others came up from like, Curtis has a solo project with me also, Cosmic Campfire Band. And so, there were songs that he had written originally for that that felt like they were fitting the mood of what we were working on. And I also have a side project that's basically the same thing where um, start writing a song for what we think is going to be for ourselves. And we say, nah, nah, I need like all the bright light guys on this to make this reach its full potential. So sometimes they'll come like pretty well developed from one of us, and then the band takes it that further step. But it's kind of everywhere in between. And everyone, brings different ideas that at different stages that we develop. So yeah, all over the place.
How much of a hand then does the band have when it comes to the production side of the music you guys make, Mia?
100% involvement with no outside involvement really at all. Like we
Wow.
all engineer, produce, and write. Even in post-production, we mix and we master. At least for Emergency Leisure, the band has worked with various producers and engineers in the past, but since Emergency Leisure, it's been like a completely closed loop, an in-house project, which is amazing. I come from a studio background. Kurt and Jackie have built this amazing studio for Brightlight over the last decade. So I think it's just a really natural kind of code shift for all of us to go from artist, writer, player, performer, and then like kind of put on our production hats of like, oh, I'm really hearing this here. Like this needs a little transitional element. Like, how about this? So it's actually like working in a group setting that way. I've never had it be so frictionless and such good ball passing. And that's what we really praise this current lineup for doing so well. It's just passing the ball. Like if someone has the starter idea, someone else jumps on to add a little bit more or answer questions that they might have if they're getting stuck in the process. One of my favorite kind of creative exercises that we've been utilizing lately is this idea of kind of a writer's room lyrical co-write. So halfway through when I came in for Emergency Leisure, I'd say there were like five songs that were pretty buttoned up and finished, but there were still a few more that needed complete like lyric writes. And Jackie and Kurt and I would stay kind of overnight, like late at the studio, and be kind of staring at like our little easel and throw out different concepts like what is this making you feel and really like construct a narrative from the ground up, which is not something you can just do with anyone. It takes a really special group of people to respect each other's writing voices and the differences that they may have and work towards like a greater goal of a lyric that really serves the song. So that's a practice I've been just really inspired by that we've been working on.
You guys are out here on the Most High tour and you're playing songs off Emergency Leisure, but you're also including special tracks from the 10th anniversary of your album Space is Still the Place. Why was that so important for you all to include or sort of honor this album with this tour?
That album just like really changed a lot for us. It was really kind of I don't know, a moment when we went from being, I think, a band that all of our world was focused around Austin and to sort of breaking out. And that music just really took us to new places, to like leave the country. And I don't know, it's just still like one of the ones that feels almost like it was gifted to us, you know, like it was, we worked very hard on it, but it also felt like it really wanted to be this very complete piece. And so we found that the new lineup performing those songs like also took on just a totally new life. It was like this really exciting, you know, every time we would be like, hey, let's learn another song from Space is Still the Place with these new, you know, Alfredo the percussionist like adds this whole dimension that wasn't around at the time of recording. And Mia, of course, as well. So it just felt like with that 10th anniversary coming up, which you know, we've got a special announcement with all that coming up soon. But yeah, we're just like doing a segment of our show that we're dedicating to just like reimagined versions of these songs and playing like full sequences of those songs in order.
Well, the music you make is so special to so many people. You all have possibly, maybe, a sixth studio album here in the works, from what I'm hearing. Any ideas of when you'll be announcing when it'll be coming, or are we still sort of crafting that?
We're still in the crafting phase. We're getting close, but it's like, you know, I've learned to stop guessing dates because it's always ends up getting pushed so far back than what I can even imagine. But yeah, you know, we've got like 9 or 10 songs recorded that we're finishing up, and we've got like a few baby new ones that we want to introduce and kind of like pick the most cohesive ones to fill out what the album actually is. So we're still finalizing that process, and I feel like yeah, then it's still mixing and mastering and artwork and like planning all the single releases and all that. So we haven't got to that stage yet. But we will on this tour be debuting a few of these songs because before we get them finally buttoned up, we love to like play them out, get a little bit of you just learn so much performing songs live, like
Sure.
what you know right away, like, oh man, that intro is like twice as long as it needs to be. You know, or whatever, like, okay, this section is great. We need to like ride that out for a little while. Um, so it's awesome for us. I think it's just exciting to share new stuff and see what it teaches us.
Yeah, you guys are all over North America with this tour. Are there any stops you're most excited to play?
Mhm. Chicago
Hmm.
is a great one. We love Tampa. We've been going to forever, so very excited to be back there at the Crowbar. Um, Denver. I'm stoked that we're doing like a dedicated section of Colorado to, shows, 2 nights in Telluride, and um, we're doing Fort Collins and Buena Vista. Yeah. So yeah.
What about you, Mia?
Yes, I'm really excited about the like après ski portion of the tour. I'm like a ski fanatic, so stoked about that and bringing my ski suit and just like, traipsing around. Hope there's some snow.
We'll just
But
shove your skis behind the drum kit and
exactly. No, the guys aren't even ready yet for how full on like après ski I'm about to go on this. I love like an occasional outfit, so it's the commitment is going to be really strong. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also really excited to head back to Philly and to play Johnny Brenda's, which is a pretty beloved rock club in Philly that I think has been kind of closed for a couple years and is back. Not exactly sure what the story is there, but it's someplace that the band has played before and loves, and it'll be my first time. So I'm really stoked to hit that up and see our friends in Philly. And then Lawrenceburg, Indiana, it sounds like a weird place, but a really great friend of mine from Cincinnati, which is where I'm from, opened a venue there and kind of came out of retirement. And he's a huge, like, kind of the godfather, grandfather of the music scene in Cincinnati. So I'm really excited to play this new theater that he has, and to reconnect with some of my local friends and artists there. So that's going to be a great little stop near home for me.
Jackie, what would you like to say to everyone who are fans and supporters of the Bright Light Social Hour?
Thank you. Um, we couldn't be doing what we're doing without you, without your support, and it means the world. We're just so elated to be able to still be here doing it. I know so many incredible artists who, have just succumbed to the brutal pressure of our society to not be a freewheeling creative person making things for others to enjoy. So the fact that we have been sustained and, we've gotten the support that we have over the years that continues to grow is just like mind blowing. And when I think about it, I get, just like tearful with gratitude for it. So it's really, yeah, an immense, immense gratitude.